Thank you very much, Ambassador Karran. Fellow Guyanese, ladies and gentlemen, comrades and friends all. I'm extremely delighted to be here today in the city of New York, the city which is the home, probably, I'm practically sure of this, the home of the largest concentration of Guyanese anywhere outside of Guyana. And what better place to launch such a project than New York, New York. Over the years, the diaspora has become increasingly pivotal to our development. I remember as a young man when I began my political career, and although I feel still very young, it is some time ago when you recall, but I remember we had a different way of looking at when people were leaving our country. And we were accusing the host countries of what was called a brain drain. And that was probably, we were probably justified at the time when we did that. But today, as Ambassador Swing was mentioned here just now, the world has changed considerably. And I believe that there is probably no family in Guyana that does not have a relative living somewhere abroad. I was sharing a joke with Ambassador Swing yesterday that I want to share with all of you. A former minister of our government told me that one time he went to Iceland and he said, I'll get away from everything now. Nobody will know me here. And then he came out of the airport and jumped in the taxi. The taxi man said, what happened, bro? So, Guyanese are all over. Carolyn mentioned just now, the wonderful thing about it is that they have not forgotten Guyana. The wonderful thing about it, they keep in touch with what is taking place at home. And many of them visit, some very frequently, some not so frequently. But the fact is that everywhere we go, as Carolyn mentioned, people have been offering their assistance. And clearly they haven't forgotten home. And if you come to New York and many other places in the United States and Canada, there are always some days for some different village, some reception in some park or some hall, doing something for their village, for their school that they came from, for the university, for the institutes, technical institute, and even many of them have created their own organization, alumni in different parts of the world. And many times when people offer their assistance, sometimes immediately you know that you need skills back home, but sometimes you do not always know exactly where to place these people. And it's very clear that what is needed is some kind of structure, some kind of organization where we can be able to manage, where not only will we be able to know many of the skills that we have abroad, but also many of the skills not only for the benefit of the government, but for the benefit of private sector, for the benefit of other organizations that are there, that they can tap into many of the resources. Because we still need a lot of skills in Guyana. I see here the chairman of Gaisuco, and I know that he has been working to try to help us get some skills to help fix Skeldon factory in a proper way, to make it reach its full potential. And in many other areas, we need skills in our country. And this is a good way. This is an organized way. This is a way of organizing it. But I am not also limiting the contribution of the diaspora only to get back some of their skills in Guyana. A few months ago, I think it was three or 4 months ago, I was in Canada. And I met with a group of Guyanese, and we were talking about Guyana and the skills and the things that they do to help at home. And I mentioned to them, and I found that it had a lot of resonance when I made the point to them that many of them have done extremely well in their professions, in business. Many of them have reached the very top of their professions. They have traveled the world from where they are. They have seen different practices, and they have become themselves acquainted with the best practices that exist in the world. And I was telling them that we need also to open ourselves to their ideas, to the ideas that they would have, and for us as a country to try to benefit from the most up-to-date ideas that many Guyanese would have acquired in the course of their work and in the course of their various activities. And they were, I found that I hit a chord when I made that point. And many of them said, yes, they had a lot of ideas, they want to share it. And they want to help. I mean, we might not be able to use all of the ideas, because sometimes, you know, when you live in a developed country for so long, like many of you are doing, sometimes your ideas are way above our heads sometimes as far as implementation are concerned. But there would be many that we could use, that we can apply. And also the fact that you are living outside. You've become successful in business and you've become successful in your profession. You have another advantage, that you see things from a distance. In some way, you are a little bit more detached from the day-to-day life in our country. And you know our politics is not easy politics. So when you're out here, you don't have the same emotion, and you can be more rational. You can be more objective in looking at things, and that is what we're looking for. That is where I think we can benefit enormously from the experience that you have acquired. Moreover, our country is at this point in time, I believe, set for a fairly rapid takeoff. The fact that over the last 5 years or so, we have grown at an average of 5%, new sectors are coming on stream, and the demand for skills and new ideas, our society is pregnant with these desires at this point in time. For instance, you know that we have made a major step forward last week, or the week before the last, in bringing closer to fruition the building of a major hydroelectric station in our country. That will have enormous transformative effect in Guyana. And when we get that project, more than 90% of our electricity generation will come from renewable energy. We will be one of the top in the world as far as renewable energies are concerned. There are people who live in the interior, along the river banks, far away from the transmission lines, where it will be practically impossible to connect them to that form of power. And therefore, we are looking for other. Already we are in the process of distributing some 11,000 solar panels for people who live in the interior, mainly Amerindians, so that they can also have access to electricity and to some modern form of services that we have to offer. You know, we have many, many projects because we have set ourselves permanently on a course of a low carbon development strategy, where we are trying to ensure that we use our natural resources in such a way that we will be able to also use it for the benefit of our people now, but preserve it for the future generations as well. And all of these things are calling for more and more skills in our country. And we have 2 huge gold mines going down there, and we have more and more declaration in gold at this point in time. Agriculture too is important, but we have to now do it in different ways. Our country has produced very, very good farmers, but the demand of the times is you have to be even better. Our farmers got to be more educated and capable of using the new technology that exists. And that is vital, because one of the main problems in the world today is food. Food is becoming more and more, food security is becoming more and more crucial. And we have the capacity, because we have land and we have fresh water, that we can be able to secure our own food supply and help to secure the supply for the rest of the region, for CARICOM. Imagine CARICOM imports about $4 billion a year in food. And we have Guyana, Suriname, Belize, Jamaica got some very good farmers too. These areas we can tap into only in our region to ensure our people's food security is ensured and the quality of life of farmers would improve.
Share with us and tell us, how do you feel right at this very moment?
Well, I feel very happy and proud at the same time, because as was said before, and which I'm repeating now, that although many people came from Guyana to look for their fortunes in different countries, they have never forgotten their country. They have never forgotten their roots. And I want to take the opportunity to express my profound thanks for the contribution that they have made to our country in different ways, either by sending money for their relatives at home, helping with their schools, or whatever way they've done. I want to extend my profound thanks to them.
And you have done this in such a big way, and I think it's a call not just for money, but all the skills to come back to Guyana.
Well, yeah, not really for money alone, but as you rightly said, but also to give people an opportunity where we can benefit mutually. Business people might want to invest. We have a lot of projects they can invest in. Skills could be employed by both the private sector and the government, and so that we can have a good structure where Guyanese can make a contribution to development.
That's right. Guyana is on the map to everybody.